Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back, guys. What's up? Sorry for the delay in life. I am so busy and I take all the blame. You are watching Cook and Foltz. This is Talks with the Masters. And this week we have Ryan Anderson, one of our great friends who is one of the top carvers in the world. He has competed all over the world and is one of my favorite guys, best friends. And below me, we have Chris Foltz, who is my man. Welcome back, boys. Ryan, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me,
Cheers.
man. Been a long time since, well, it's been Chetwin since the three of us were together doing shenanigans.
Yeah, that one last year.
Yeah,
You carved
right.
that dinosaur. That was insane. That
That thing
dinosaur was
awesome.
insane. That should have placed. It was an epic piece. I loved everything about that. And I definitely want to ask you some questions about that because you are a detail master. And for myself, I am not as, and I want to learn. So right off the hop, why don't you tell me about how you got started carving? Because I know you have been carving for more years than most would think with how young you actually are.
Right. So I started in 2004, and we got started because where I live in Reedsport, or lived at the time in Reedsport, there's the Father's Day weekend competition that Bob and Cindy King started. And I was a sophomore in high school when my family went down there. It was our first time. So we just moved from Nevada a year before. And we got there, got to see this, my first exposure to all this. And then the crazy thing is, all these people that I was surrounded by at the time, when I'm like 14, was Mark Colp, Bob King, all these, Jason Emmons, all these bad dudes were there.
You can say ass. It's all good.
No clue.
You
Ass.
can say ass.
There we go.
We're on YouTube.
So it was cool. So that was my first exposure to it. And my family met a guy from Washington, Tracy Breitenfeld, and we just kind of worked out like a deal. He took me from Reedsport up to his place in Packwood, Washington. I got to carve for a couple of days at his place. And then boom, we went right to Ocean Shores for my first competition, like 3 days after learning how to carve.
At 14 years old?
Yeah, I think I just turned 15 at the time.
Jesus. That's insane.
So it was pretty wild.
And Chris,
yeah,
you kind of nodded there, like you when he said.
Well, I was
Brighton,
trying to.
I've never
I was
heard
trying
that
to
name
remember.
before.
Oh, Tracy. Yeah, Tracy. Well, from Cedro Woolley. I mean, that's where I've seen Tracy so many times at Cedro. One of the coolest things about Tracy, I'll never forget. When I first met him, he was sitting there carving, and his wife was holding an umbrella over him while he was carving to block the sun. You remember that shit?
Yeah.
Dude's an animal. I love him, and he uses one saw the whole time. What is it, like a 16-inch? We got 16-inch bar. Still,
he's a whittler
the whole time.
I was doomed from the beginning of carving because I got set up with a carver who's a whittler. And as all of us know, dude, if you whittle, you either got to be extremely fast or dude, you're going to be sitting there for days.
Tommy Craig's. Fastest whittler there is.
He's so good
like
too.
Tracy has an amazing style, though. I mean, his style is very unique, and he does well with it.
And every carver has a different style. And getting into styles, I mean, you have one of the most notable styles that I could tell. I can tell your kind of style of carving in a heartbeat, especially your quick carves, which you are so fast at. And you were trained after, sorry, I've already forgot his name, but you were trained after him by Mark Culp, were you not?
I was, and the funniest thing, not a lot, some people know, I should say, but to put it out there, my first time meeting Mark Culp was one of the most interesting, scariest things. I think I just turned 16. This is my second year at Ocean Shores, and Chris, I know he'll remember this portion of it because Bose Backus was the auctioneer for Reedsport. And at that time, they had this rookie of the year award. And Bose was like on me. He's like, "You're the kid." He's like, "You're going to earn this. You've got, this is your first or second year in Reedsport. Here I am, just a kid." And I remember Me, this is my first time I was ever pissed off. Chris's thing's gonna land on my head.
I was just thinking that might fall on your head too.
It might fall on my head, but I'll take it down later. But I remember being so pissed because they called Rookie of the Year, and I'm like, I'm a shoo-in. I'm a kid. And they got Chris Foltz. And I'm just sitting there like,
yeah, I remember. I was just about to
What?
ask you, what was the year? Because if your first year was in Reedsport at 14, I was going to ask you, what was the year you and I met there? Because you and I were, that would have been the year after. So 14 was your first year. Was it the year after that we met?
2005 was my first year, is when they did like Down at the Farm. And I remember
That was
okay.
That
was 2005. So,
was
2006, you and I were next together when we did like, what was it, fantasy?
So was that your first year? Was that your first year when I got the Rookie of the Year award?
It was my second year. It was like I was like barely into it, like a year or something.
No
like that.
shit. That's
so,
awesome.
but it was
I kind of feel
funny
bad,
because
but
Bose
good
was
right
so
now.
pissed.
Chris,
You should feel
so
good about it. But it was so funny though, because Bose was pissed, and he's like, I'm gonna take care of you in Ocean Shores. You just have to get there. I just turned 16. I didn't have a freaking vehicle. I've never drove more than an hour out of Reedsport. So at the time, there was a guy that took photography, and I'll forget his name, but he was doing all the photographs for all the chainsaw circuits, because at the time it was the Echo carving series.
Oh, really cool.
So I caught a ride with this photographer up to Ocean Shores, where Bose is like, I'll get you a room. I'm going to take care of you. You're going to compete here. I want you to get involved. Get there, no rooms.
So basically,
now I'm like,
wait, so you basically, sorry to cut you off there, but so basically when you started carving, you literally were thrown into competition. So you are like fully bred for carving competitions.
I've been around the competitions from day one, basically.
And when you when you first got into that, like you're in a competition, you're competing against Bob King, you see Bob King, you're competing against Foltz for Rookie of the Year. You're instantly.
I fucking love that, man. I still have that semi-pro freaking license plate, dude. Hand me my
awesome.
shot.
So you're saying
right. That was awesome.
Right away, you've already gotten yourself into competitive carving, and you have continued to climb up the competitive carving rank. And at that level, how did you get to where you are so fast? Like,
I was thrown in the fire.
Yeah,
without knowing.
Yeah.
I mean, some competitions I'll never forget are my worst bombs, failures at competitions. I mean, some that I'll never forget. But to finish with Mark, I mean, so I get to Ocean Shores and no hotel room, and Bose Backus comes to me and says, "Hey, Mark Culp, he's sponsored by Echo. I know him personally. He's a very good guy. He said he'd be willing to let you sleep in his trailer for the night, and tomorrow we have rooms for you." I don't know who this Mark Culp guy is.
Oh,
I just know
shit.
he's just.
I don't know
I just
who
know
this Mark Culp guy is. I want to make sure I want to make sure we hear that right now.
I love
no idea. So before we get to Ocean Shores, I stop at a still shop, and I get myself gloves and chains, and I got a hat. I'm cool. That's me and my Steel 180, man, and we're gonna conquer the world, man. And I get thrown into the Echo poster child's trailer.
That's awesome.
Walk in there, and first thing, he's sitting down, and he looks at me and does this little motion and goes, Steel, grabs my bags, kicks his door open, throws my shit out into the parking lot.
Yes, Mark. Good job.
I'm 16 years old, dude.
That is hospitality at its best.
That's classic Mark right there.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Classic Mark. So that's
Mark.
First thing. So confused. I'm like, okay, I obviously I must leave my stuff outside, clearly. I don't know.
That's unreal.
That's great.
And next thing you know, he's just rummaging, and you guys know Mark. He doesn't talk much when he's doing things. He's just rummaging and talking to himself, and he starts throwing shit in my direction. and it's random stuff: t-shirts, hats, gloves,
Oh yeah.
He did the
Echo
same thing
underwear,
to me at
probably.
Saw Dogs.
Yeah.
He
And
did the same thing.
he
There's
instantly
Mark, yeah.
just typical Mark. I mean, he's so nice to everybody, and he just
Right.
instantly right here. And he's, hey, little buddy, you're my little buddy now. And that
That's
was my
awesome.
first experience. But it wasn't until like 4 years or a couple years later, after I graduate high school, when he invites me to come basically live with him at his house with his wife Barbara and work out of his shop.
And when you were doing
And
that, how was like the training with Mark? Did he grill you? What was training like?
it's scary at times because with Mark, there's really no training as much as there is grabbing this, do a little bit of work.
Well, if you're to compare both of you guys, if you were to do bears, nothing else, but if you do bears, I would be hard pressed to tell, and I'm going to show people right now, 2 different bears, one Mark, one yours, and they're different now as you've grown into your own artistry, but I mean, you can definitely tell that you have had a lot of influence by Mark. Is that something that was how did you get, how are you able to like kind of how do I say it, take on his form and take his style and make it your own? Because you guys have such awesome, I steal your bear styles all the time. I mean, I blacken the eyes, I pull down the tip down in the eyes and try and make it I'll show you one of my bears that I fully copy both of your guys' bears. I mean, it's awesome. How
it's honestly with Mark, it was I personally learned visually.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been someone that's like, I'm going to show you how to do this, which that obviously it helps. But if I see it and I can watch it, I can find a way of copying it to an extent. And when you watch someone like Mark, who's very methodical about the way he carves,
right.
I mean, when you live with them after like 4 different winters, you start picking up his tips and tricks really quick.
Winters?
And I spent 4 different winters, and obviously we'd separate during the summertime in between carvings, but during the wintertime I'd go back and stay with them and carve. He'd buy some carvings off of me wholesale. We'd go travel and do a few things. I mean, Mark became my secondary father, and
so
really
awesome.
he's molded me to exactly the way he wanted to, and I think that's what pisses me off now.
That's so funny.
You know, you have Mark Colp, but then you have Ryan Anderson, and it goes Mark and then Mark, but I'm Mark with a heart.
You know what's funny is like I had talked to Mark this week, and I wish that this was going to happen, but I literally was ready to have Mark come on right now and bust your balls on Zoom.
Man.
Right now.
I'd probably be like, no, we're
I wasn't able to get it. He just couldn't figure out the Zoom. But he's coming on. He's gonna come on.
That's Mark right there, yeah.
He's coming on either next week or after Simon O'Rourke, one of the two. But he's
awesome.
We had this awesome plan to get you real good, but I wish that I could say I clicked a button and make that happen. But that's crazy.
I would have peed my pants for sure, dude.
I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps just thinking about spending four winters with Mark, because for myself, like, we did Carver Kings together and right. Saw Dogs, but Carver Kings, we stayed in the hotel together. We were close. We were tight. It was freaking awesome. He is such a caring person. He's so giving. He's so able to teach you. And I can never emulate his technique, because he's just like this weird like, he's so clean. I can't carve that way. I am like, I look at like my inspirations when I started were like Ken Packey. I loved what Ken Packey does, and you know, Simon O'Rourke and his kind of like more refined finish, you know, like, but there's so many different people that I gravitate towards, but I really could never pull off a Mark style carving. And when I
I don't think a lot of people can.
It's so
because
tough.
You see it, so many people do. But dude, nobody can carve quite like the Colps can. I mean, if you've seen Don Culp stuff, even Mark's brother Matthew Culp stuff.
Ryan Anderson can. Ryan Anderson.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. You're that next generation.
And what's awesome from that is you have taken that style and you've created your own style. And now, did you ever find that was a hard thing to do, like differentiate yourself from Mark, and then now have created, like, your style is very fucking clean and very awesome. Was that a hard thing for you to do?
To break the Mark style away, because I was very conflicted for many years on my style of carving, because it was Mark was the there it goes.
It's windy in Salem.
Don't worry.
Damn.
We'll get to Makita and how great they are.
Man, Makita about took my head off. Woo! Damn.
Dude,
All right, I'm gonna let you chill down there, little buddy.
That was awesome. Holy crap.
All right, damn. Where were we? I saw my life flash before my eyes on the screen.
I was like,
pretty sure we were talking about style. We were talking about
style and how hard it was to get away from that. So, I mean, maybe Mark's listening and just threw that down, but you know what? Let's get back to it. Let's get right back to it.
Make him answer. Yeah, awesome. Mark cannot stop this.
So was it really tough for you to break that?
It was hard to break it, because I had that Mark blocky. Everything's very just get to the point, where the style that I was trying to get to was very formed and flowy, and I was finding that's hard to achieve. At least it was for me, to get that block, huge committed block form, and then get the flow out of it. And it happened after I started seeing more of what Chris was doing. And, Chris and I have talked so many times, and how, Ryan, you and I have talked S shapes, C shapes, and, your eye flow and that beauty. And then going towards the styles that I wanted to do, things that I've been wanting creatively to do, where it was so stuck in this wildlife driven scene. And I was sick of it, man. I was getting carver block all the time. It sucked. And I had to break out of it. And what broke it out was just changing my style, changing my forms.
What's really funny is that, and not really funny, but it's actually something similar that happened to me, because I was Chris's protege. And for me, watching Chris was form, like lines, clean lines, like everything was template, execute,
right,
bang, 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 bang. And it was really hard for me to break away, because I think Chris is there's no one that can carve like him. He has like this style that is like, it's a Foltz piece, you know it. But with me, I'm so interested in like detailing and little details and like really kind of like carving a pupil out and finding my own self. Breaking away from him was like one of the trickiest things and hardest things that I had ever done. So I can totally relate to what you're saying there. And that is fuck that. I don't know where to go from that, but that's something for me that I really,
and that's just you blossoming out of your own little comfort shell, and you finally get to explore. I mean, if you were to look at my style, and if you were to actually see that evolution from where I started, you'd see this weird Tracy Breitenfeld kind of style, weird shaped heads, and then you'd see my style went to instantly Stephen Higgins style, this very round shaped, cutesy style bears, whipping those carvings out. I mean, I think one quick carve in Reedsport, I did like 14 or 15 bears in like that hour and 15 minutes.
Wow. But you know what? That's
really, remember that style back then. There was you, and you know who else that really stuck out was Steve Orn. I mean, aside from the norm, Culp King, blah blah blah, but you and Steve Orn, you two were knocking out. I mean, it was 15, 20. I don't even know where the number stopped. I mean, it was like you guys were racing.
I had to.
It was crazy to watch. That was definitely a time in itself where you guys changed what quick carve really was, you know.
We changed it for the worst,
it was
dude.
nuts.
We murdered
And
auctions, dude.
still you're that way. Still you're that way.
I was that
That's
dickhead
what drives
that
me
was
freaking
doing
nuts, man,
15
is trying to be in a
carvings.
competition with these guys and their quick carves are out of control.
Yeah.
Doing 15 carvings, screw that, dude. Anyway, if I see that now, I'm instantly like, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
I've been that guy. We've all been that guy.
I was that guy, dude. And trust me, nobody likes that guy. Because now when you got carvings that are going for 150, 200, 300 bucks a whack, and you got 15 of these little shits in there, you're like, you know, you got 15, you're like, yeah, I got it. What's up? Everyone else like, dude, you just jacked all these. You just ruined it, dude.
Yeah. No,
and it's about education. You learn that. Now you'll never catch me doing more than 2 in a quick carve. And rarely you'll see me doing 2.
Yeah, I think it's good to take your time, do something good. And I think that's a great point for anyone who's going into a competition and wants to, you know, go into a quick carve thinking they're going to be fast and it's all about pumping out the product. But really, if you take your time, take that extra 5 minutes and do quality, it really goes a long way. And, you know, like we were saying earlier, to kind of like a point to wrap it up would be, you know, if you're going to start carving and you are into carving and you want to change your style and you've been taught by somebody, a great thing to think about is actually like taking a little nugget. Like nowadays, I think about when I'm doing design with Chris, I take a little piece. When I'm doing bears and I want to do something, I take it from Ryan. When I'm doing heavy detail or like texture, I take it from Packy. When I do, you know, there's so many, it's good to just like grab something. So if something gels with you, that's a really, really great way to kind of like learn to carve and adapt and find your style.
My style is pulled from so many different people that have inspired me. And it's crazy. I mean, I could, my list could go on and on of the people, and I am not ashamed to tell you whose idea I took.
Absolutely.
Because
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Dude, that's what made me better. And I have to thank those people.
It makes you better, and it also makes you like you, because you can find your way with what works for you. And when it all comes together, it becomes you. And I think that's really cool. I really do.
Well, I think that's a really good point for younger carvers to understand. Talking to Ryan, the reality of all of us, we learn by replicating, by mimicking, by trying to copy. That is what we do. All of us have done it. And at some point, you have tried to replicate all these people that you've seen. You see their success, you try to replicate them, and then at some point, what we're talking about, you just break out of it. You know, and that's what we see. And look at you, Ryan, the dinosaurs. Like if I think of anything with Ryan Cook, or Ryan Anderson, like the dinosaur are out of control.
Yeah,
you know?
Those dinosaurs have been, my God, man, I love those dinosaurs. And it's so cool because, dude, when I was a kid, all I wanted to be was a paleontologist. Jurassic Park is still to this day one of my favorite movies. Creature of the Black Lagoon's like up there too. But I mean, dude, that's the stuff that I live and breathe. Creature of the Black Lagoon.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah,
dude. That if you don't know what that movie is, you need to look it up. Watch it. It's an ultimate Universal monster movie classic.
I've carved that character.
Totally worth it. That's right. You did.
I did. That's awesome. So when you're moving forward into that, you started to get into getting sponsored, and now it's led into something that for me, I'm very curious about is Makita. You are now, you got sponsored by Makita, and Makita then offered you a job, right? Or
it developed that way. So the previous sales rep that had this, the Pacific Northwest territory, he was one of the guys that helped start and create the Makita carving team and get that going with Bob King and myself. So Bob and I started, we got involved with Makita, and that went for the first, year and a half or so. And then when Jason left with Makita, they were just like, hey, we need somebody to take over the outdoor power equipment. And we need somebody in Northwest, we need somebody with chainsaw skills and who knows, who has a broad knowledge of, just chainsaws in general. And we kind of started working the deal out and everything. And man, I took the job.
So did you find it hard once you started to, because I mean, a lot of carvers have different jobs, right? Like you could be a hobby carver, you could be a full-time carver, but you could be a full-time carver that now during these times has to kind of figure out how to get a real job, because, or not a real job because carving is a real job, but get a job that's going to keep your family afloat. Have you found it really hard that to balance the two between each other, like now that you have a full-time job at Makita and also being a professional carver?
Totally. I can tell you right now, there's probably about that much dust on some of my chainsaws right now. What this has made me realize, and Chris and I have talked about this a lot, is it has opened my creative juices, I guess you could say, to a whole new level, because I'm not relying on that bear to sell every other week or so. You know, I'm not relying on other things to unfold. Now I get to focus on exactly what I want to do. So if I were to open up my iPad and sketch and flip through all of my ideas, all my sketches and all of the different stuff that I've got created, I've got about 10 competitions worth of material right now that I could dive into. So for me, I love it. I still work with the tools that I used every day for carving. I work with the same style of people. I mean, I worked with Husqvarna prior to Makita, so working with dealerships is nothing new for me.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
I was a sponsor with Husqvarna for almost 10 years. It was about almost 9.5 years. So I was with Husky for.
So I remember one of the first times meeting Ryan at a competition, and he was sitting there. I mean, it was after the show. Everything was shut down. Most people were packed up, and he was sitting there with a group of kids. I don't know if you remember this. You and I met eyes, actually. We didn't even know each other. And you were sitting there explaining to them how to carve a bear. I mean, you were actually, when you think about this, you were like 15, 16 years old. And you were taking everything you had given to you, theoretically, and giving back already, teaching, working past hours. And I think that's a great point you made, Cook. Ryan Anderson, man, he puts the work in, dude. And that's where that comes from. You can say luck, but I'm going to tell you from somebody who knows, you put the work in, dude.
I appreciate that very much, man. Thank you. But man, I consider there's been a lot of lucky strokes in my life that have got me where I'm at. And I am so thankful every day. I mean, I definitely have worked. I mean, I remember I worked there's a company out of Northern California that Mark Culp kind of helped me get involved with, Legend of Bigfoot, which is right on 101 in the Redwoods. And I started working with them, and I was doing like 130 something bear carvings every like 3.5-4 weeks. This was
that's crazy
introduction to wholesaling.
Yeah,
that's
and
insane.
Wholesaling is one of those blessing and curse things where you just destroy yourself. And I was always a one-man show. I had my best friend Stefan, who would help me sand and pretty much do anything else. I mean, he literally did everything but use chainsaws at times.
How many were you pumping
out? At one day, I think the most I pumped out was about like 35, no more than 40. And that was, I mean, I had an assembly line, dude. I had like a 20-foot slab with spike blocks and just line those things up. And I would one saw, man, just bop, 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 go through the line.
Make sure you take a note, no more than 40.
I know. That's like,
okay, I just want to make sure we all understand that.
That's like Mountain Mike style
Ryan Anderson
right
had to stop at 40, okay?
Dude, and Mike makes me sick. I love Mountain Mike. Mike, if you're watching, you work way too damn hard, man.
Yeah, you need to slow down.
That guy's a beast. I can't imagine doing that anymore because I'm 31 now. Dude, I have pains where I don't think I should have pains. And
I'm in the same boat.
It's crazy, dude. I couldn't do that again. The people that do that, I applaud you. I envy you, man. That is some hard shit.
I think that's like it's the choice you go in carving. I mean, I can think of a good friend of mine, Danny Peterson. He's a Vancouver carver or Vancouver Island. He doesn't do that exactly, but he does like his style where he creates a bunch of sculptures to take on the road in the winter. Like there's so many different ways for carvers to make this work nowadays. You know, there's your, like Bob was saying, like in our last interview, there's You know, there's everything. There's roadside. There's fine art. There's
it's an unlimited avenue, man. You could go from full corporations down to the itty bitty farmers markets.
Yep, and it's
make
only
a
growing.
killer living.
Yeah,
if you're dedicated to it, and you can stick it out. Because one of the hardest things about being self-employed is your ass is going to take some days off.
Yeah, and that's the
mine
trickiest
did
thing.
all the time.
Getting through all of this and where we are now, you are one of the top carvers in the world, but you have a finish that is unreal. I mean, Chris and I, we just can't even get to that. I personally can't get to it, and I know Chris and I have talked about it. I detail way more than Chris does. Your dinosaur that you did in Chetwynd, you did the scales, and I'm going to zoom in on it so people can see this.
Yeah.
What tools did you use? Like, what was your mindset? How did you get there? Give us some insight.
It's evolved. So the raptor that I carved in Reedsport prior to Blue, which I call my hero raptor. It's like it's the best fucking raptor I've done, hands down. But the raptor in Reedsport, I did all the scaling on the body. I started with the chainsaw, and the lines were just too hard. They weren't soft enough because scaling's it looks pretty sharp, but realistically, they're just small indentations. And with the chainsaw, it's just too much. So I evolved and changed into just strictly using all my saber tooth bits. But then you're at the fact now it's slow. So now I got to find a way of this pace. I got to find a way of dragging the tool fast enough. So it's just a matter of just using the different saber tooth bits. So I'll use that round circle disc. And that's what I'll use for all the scaling. And I'll drag it up, bring it down, drag it up, bring it down. And it's in these weird small figure 8 kind of patterns, but it's not patternized. So
cool.
For me, I just get in the zone. And dinosaurs put me in that zone because, I always got dinosaurs on the brain. My kid loves dinosaurs. We're a dinosaur family. So reptiles are our thing, and just that body form. So once I start getting that texture and I see the skin starting to flow, now you start flowing with the body. You want to work with that muscle, the way everything kind of turns. Everything has to flow. You can't just lay down patterns. You throw out a pattern on a block of wood and it's there, but you got to bring it to life.
Your dinosaurs. Let's talk about the mouth. Seriously, if we can, and if we can throw up a picture to show. If not, I'll get a couple.
There it is.
Let's talk about the mouth. Let's talk about the mouth. That's
right now.
Okay. Skin patterns, scale patterns. I get it. You got some cool shit going on. We've talked about feathers on the show. We've talked about, we've tapped in the scales. The mouth is the one piece. When I walk up to your dinosaur that's down in Bandon, I got to, when I walk up and see that every day, how do you do the mouth? I don't know. When I look at it, and I figure myself as a pretty extreme detail person, if I want to be, I cannot wrap my mind around the teeth, how you so cleanly get into the mouth, the top of the roof of the mouth, the tongue, specifically the teeth. You know what I mean? It's freaking fantastic. It's what it is.
So a lot of it, I kind of cheat. When I teach carving or people that ask for advice, I talk a lot about illusions, because realistically, you can spend all that time getting in between all the gums in those teeth and getting on the insides and stuff like that, and spend all that time doing it, or you can cut corners. So when I start lining up my teeth, I always give myself a lot of tooth room, because one, I got to expect a little bit of breakage. Because I run my teeth. You've seen my teeth. I run them thin.
Right.
But when I block out my heads, I always make sure that grain is going straight down the directions of the teeth. That way I have the most strength out of it. So when I line those teeth up, everything's being held together with that grain, and it's done with either the really, really thin, it's like a 2-inch rasp, or like a cone shaped from saber. And then I finish it up with a flame, because it's just all it is. I run that gum line, and I'll come in between with the flame bit, and it has a natural taper to it. So it'll naturally kind of curve the teeth back as it is. So realistically, you know, I'm just got a firm hold on that and just rolling those in between each one by giving it length, letting them chip. It's natural teeth chip and everything. So, you know, it just let that stuff flow. And then after that, I follow up. You talked on a couple other videos ago, the yellow Scotch-Brite wheel that goes on your drill.
Yeah.
It's the abrasive nylon bristle wheel. That thing is money. Oh my God. If you don't have one, get it. It's on Amazon. Dude, that thing will save your life. It's on Amazon, dude.
Oh, okay. Because I've been looking for it. I can't find it anywhere.
If you can't find it on Amazon, get it from Bob King on sawnuts.com. Bob's got them. He'll hook you up, man. Because, man, if you like the natural saw marks and everything without having to round everything off, this thing is what's up, man. Yeah. It leaves the natural saw marks and it just polishes. And that's what really makes my texture work pop, is that bristle wheel. That alone is, I could tell you, is probably my secret weapon. That bristle wheel. Because of the way it just smooths everything out. It keeps the texture work, and keeps all your detail without the harshness of erasing a lot of it like a sander would, you know.
Crazy.
It's got to work, because when I've been up close and personal with multiple of your dinosaur sculptures, and every time I can figure it out, but when I get to the face, the mouth, I'm always like, God damn, he must have a bit that he just punches those teeth out and cleans the gums and all that. And it's great to hear, man. I mean, the fact that you're doing it by hand, you're using a rasp bit, a saber bit to actually do it by hand, each of the teeth, and then cleaning it with that yellow bristle is fantastic. It's nice to know, because I got to try it. That's all there is to it.
The 3/4 inch flame bit, the coarse. I am primarily a coarse bit user myself. That was until those the blue and purple Supreme bits came out. Right. Oh my gosh. Right. I know both of you have used them.
They're so I
love them.
I blew out a bear's mouth. I was carving this bear today, and literally, like, I'm filming it for this fucking page, and I'm like, oh, I left a bunch of room. Boom, boom, boom. Never used it. It was the dovetail, so I'd never used dovetail today. And as soon as I did, I touched it and it jumped. Boom, blew the freaking whole teeth out. Just gone.
Chris had a gnarly bit. Chris started developing that bubble bit back when I think he did the octopus and Chetwin, the first one. And I had a couple sets. Dude, that is the scariest thing. When we were carving in Hope that year, when I did the crocodile, you did Ogo Pogo, and Verba did what the hell? He did Fraser Lake, the Fraser monster.
Fraser dinosaur, or dragon,
and dude,
like that,
oh my gosh, man! If you hit that bubble bit on that wrong side, like you said, and it would just destroy. It would destroy everything in its path.
But when
I did that octopus and Chetwin, I broke 5 of those bits. 5 bits I went through that.
That had to have been scary if those things busted off.
Well, of course, and I didn't even know what I was doing at the time. I mean, it was the first time I'd done it. 5 bits I went through, and 3 die grinders I broke doing that one sculpture. Mind you, I've gotten better since at figuring that out, but that's a rough bit to deal with.
It's great in ice, though. I still use it in ice to this day.
Oh yeah, of course.
I love that.
Ice, you've got no resistance. It's perfect for ice. But yeah, oh my God, Chris showed me some of those, and I mean, they had like they had some teeth on them.
I'm gonna go through my through my old bit kit and see if I can find it, because I think I've kept it because it was so sketchy. It was like I remember Chris gave me one, and I'd be doing like dinosaur things and trying to like copy everybody's style, and it'd be like boom, boom, and it would just like dig in and then like carve out like 4 inches, and you're like, whoa.
I would say that bit is probably the second scariest tool to use next to the Lancelot wheel.
And nobody in this
and world, nobody should use that tool. Carver, if you have it, throw it away.
Carvers, the Lancelot.
Throw it in the garbage. If you're a chainsaw carver or just getting started, you see that 3 fucking pros
off the bat. Pro tip number 1: do not use a Lancelot wheel.
Throw it out.
Throw that shit in the garbage.
Learn to use your chainsaw and throw that shit out.
That
It's
drives
right.
me
That
crazy.
thing, if your chainsaw can't do it, that Lancelot will sure as shit
You know what
can't
that
do it.
Lancelot will do? Gut you. If you're using it on
will
an angle
gut you.
grinder that doesn't have a toggle and you leave it and it jumps into your tummy, bye-bye. That's
We need to
it.
throw.
You know, I
Hey,
got one
Ryan,
of those.
Okay.
just the rasp bits that are solid on that same concept. I'll get you the picture of Verba's fingers when that shit hit his shirt,
Oh.
dude. You remember that? Remember that hamburger
Yeah.
picture he sent to us? Yeah. No.
Dude, that was a nasty one.
I don't care
His
how
whole
good.
hand.
I
I'm
don't care
so
how
glad.
good you think it is. It's gonna catch up.
I think that is absolutely it. But you know what? We are not going to end this on a PSA. We are going to end it on the first time ever on Talks with the Masters. Thanks to this man right here, Ryan Anderson. We are going to do a giveaway.
Yeah.
Ryan, tell us about it.
We're definitely going to give away. This is Makita's new XPS Impact Kit.
Yes.
Yes, dude. I got sent this when we released it a while ago, and of course, dude, they're awesome. Chris, Ryan, as we all know, we go through a ton of timber locks, screws.
Yeah. And
We
bits.
go through bits. I don't know how many times, Chris, I've borrowed your bits. I don't know how many times you borrowed mine, and we never get that shit back. But this is not a bit set that you want to loan out. So we're going to give away one of these.
The one you keep in the box.
This is your
Awesome.
not loaner kit. The other one, this is going to be the Makita carving bar. This is our 10-inch
I have
carving
never
bar.
seen a Makita carving bar.
Neither have I.
This is awesome, man. I've been using these on my electric saws, on my battery saws, the XCU03, and we have a few different lineups of those. But this is a pretty bitchin' bar, man.
Where are these coming from?
Temp.
Is Makita's making these?
These are not made by Makita. These would technically be Oregon sculptor bars, but we have stamped Makita on these. So if you're a Makita supporter, I'll tell you what, they're nice bars. And if you use some of the Oregon bars, there's different reviews. But I mean, I like these.
So Makita carving bars, not seen them. How do we get a hold of those?
You can go on Makita.com and look up into your local distributors and find your nearest dealer for outdoor power equipment, and they can order that for you. It is a special item, so I can guarantee probably 99% of dealers will not have this bar, but it exists. It's out there, and it's in stock. If you have questions, if you need to get a hold of these, you can shoot me a message at randerson@makitausa.com. I'll find you a dealer. I'll hook you up. Make sure you get in the right direction.
Awesome.
Great.
That's great.
That's great.
So how are we going to make this competition happen? Are we going to you know what I think we should do? I think number one, we're going to talk about this. Ryan Anderson, how do we find you on social media?
You can find me Sculptures in Motion on Instagram and Sculptures in Motion on Facebook. Ryan Anderson Sculptures in Motion on Facebook. Pretty soon, I have not been on there since I've pretty much been working with Makita. It's been pretty low content, but now that's okay. So once we get going now, I'm going to start actually working some new unboxing videos, which Ryan, you and I have talked about. I've got some cool videos that are going to be coming out, unboxing the latest and greatest Makita products. And then, of course, I've got a couple of carving projects coming up here in the future that I really look forward to sharing.
This is my man, Chris Foltz. He is Divine Sculptures at Facebook.com, Chef Chainsaw at Instagram.com. I am Ryan Cook, and I am SawValley.com, SawValley.RyanCook at Instagram, and Facebook.com/SawValley. But pretty soon, all of it's going to be Ryan Cook Carves. And if you guys want to enter this, definitely leave a comment below and like and subscribe to this page, because Cook and Foltz are kicking ass and we are going to be more consistent. I apologize once again because I am very busy. We are going to have Simon O'Rourke coming up.
That's a good problem to have, right?
It is a very good problem to have, and I'm very fortunate. I don't take that for granted. And I just want to say, everybody, be safe, Ryan Anderson, thank you so much for coming on. We're going to have you back on again because once you started to talk about teaching, and I mean, I want to learn more about teeth, and we just scratched the tip of the iceberg with that.
Yeah, dude, so, I'm a huge open teacher. I hold pretty much zero secrets. I mean, dude, you can come grab any of my tools anytime you need help, dude. I am right there.
Now
so,
I got
especially next generation carvers, young people and stuff. Get a hold of me, man. I will help. I love it.
Good to know.
He will help you.
I'm gonna remember that next time we're all in chat. When I'm gonna remember you said that, man. I'm gonna play this.
Yeah,
back.
Except for when I'm competing against your ass.
No. That's not. No. We're gonna edit that out.
No, we're not. And you know what I was just thinking, because we're not gonna edit that out. If you ask Ryan a question, that gets you entered into this.
There you go.
This thing, and we're gonna pick the best questions. We're not gonna pick the best questions. It'll be picked at random, but we will take all the questions from the comments below, and we will ask Ryan. We'll have him back, and I will just fire away. Me and Chris, we're gonna grill the shit out of him, and it'll be a hour-long lesson. Okay, guys.
There you go. Let's do that. Oh, dude, this is perfect timing. You're not gonna believe this. My wing stop order just showed up, man.
On that note, this is Cook and Foltz. Foltz, I love you. Mr. Anderson,
hero.
I love you. Guys,
love you guys.
Thank you
Dude, this
so
is
much
great.
for watching.
Been a pleasure.
Check us out. Like the video below. Subscribe below. We'll see you again next week with either Simon O'Rourke or Mark Culp. Bye, guys.
Cheers.
Later.
I don't know how to say this
fucking
stupid thing.
God damn.
I happen to get it from my dead grandma, too.
Okay, bonus footage time, just like we did with Ryan Bailey. It's shot time. I got this for a gift for carving a picnic table. The Alberta Pier Premium.
Excellent.
I'm going to say cheers.
Ryan,
what do you got?
I am drinking a 1976 Bicentennial Bourbon.
Wait, 1976?
1976. So unfortunately, my grandma in Utah died, passed away a handful of weeks ago. And the family decided to crack open this 1976 bottle that they had at their store back in Ely, Nevada. So the family opened it up, and every once in a while, a couple times, I will have a swig in honor of my family, my grandma and grandpa has passed on, and 1976 bourbon is most excellent. So there you go.
I can't even think of a better way to cheers. I had to mute Chris there because he was just blabbing away somewhere, and now I can't unmute him. Chris, unmute yourself.
What was I blabbing about, asshole?
Dude, did you not hear that
we're fucking recording.
story?
I'm sorry, I didn't realize we were back on record.
Yeah,
but I was talking to my goat over here.
This is the bonus footage. Show us your goat. Show us your goat, you goat.
I'm trying.
I'm gonna edit that out. Show
Actually,
us your goat.
No, we're not.
Hey, Rio, what's up, baby? What's up, boy? Can you see Rio?
Why do you have a goat?
This is my. Hey, Rio. Are you checking out my? Don't eat my. God damn it. No. Okay.
You gotta go, dude. What the hell do you expect?
It's my Captain Lime tree.
We're done.
Don't eat
I'm
that.
done with it. I got it. Ryan needs to eat his wings. Chris, we're gonna have to talk about this and what we can actually use, because
damn goat was eating the tree. What do you want me to do?
Okay.
Hey,
thank you for showing us the goat. Shut your pie hole. I'm done with this right now.
Oh, come on. It's so good, though.
Okay, I'm wrapping this up. Chris, I love your goat. He's so cute. Cheers, boys.
I love that you edit these videos. That's what I love. Cheers.
Good night.
Yeah, thank God that you edit this shit.
I just like to make you guys
get another wing in your mouth there, Anderson.
All right, I'm out of here. Goodbye, boys.